So, Red Bull Outliers 2023. This is a video of my entire race. I tried to record it last year and had wrecked my GoPro the day before. Didn't realize it until I was on the starting line and the battery just was fried and it wouldn't work. So, I've got my whole race here for anybody who cares to watch. It's the vet class. We take off first, and then amateurs are behind us. There was almost 150 people in total, 50 vets, and I think 97 amateurs. So, yeah, just waiting for them to turn out the lights, and we will be off racing. Hope you enjoy.
I'll go right. 30-second card's up. 5-second card is going. 3, 2, 1.
Slow going here. This is only the first hill. Last year it was a little bit wet and actually trickier than it is here, so I don't know. I don't think anybody was in a mega panic to get off. We just kind of fall in line, and you know, the goal here, I guess, is to at least get in a lap would be nice, and then anything over that is sort of a bonus. But it's a really spectacular place to be riding, so just take it in and try not to hurt yourself or your bike too bad, because this terrain is very unforgiving. I'm not sure it got squirrely there, but yeah, just getting the jitters out. This place, there wasn't really any time to practice before the race, so bikes are cold and we're all cold, and it's hard to just hop on and go without having a bit of a warm up. Make the best of it here, I guess. So I should mention I was in the prologue the day before and made it to the finals, but ended up P11, so I still ended up on the second row because there were rows of 10, which kind of sucked, but I was just so gassed. It was plus 31 out, and I don't know, I'd hurt my leg I think on the second set of heats, and it was just, I didn't really have anything left in the tank for the final round. There was a tire section that was pretty brutal, and if you messed it up, it just would cost you an eternity. And if you cleaned it, it was really good, but even the pros were having some troubles in there, so I didn't feel so bad. But anyways, yeah, that's how they determined the starting lineup. And if you didn't, if you weren't one of the 42 riders that got to ride the prologue, then they just sort of slotted you in, and you were stuck behind even more people. So position in this race is paramount, because some of the hills, for people that aren't used to them, are just insurmountable, and lots of guys trying to push their bikes up and muscle their bikes up, and it just slows everything down to a crawl. So if you're out front and you can avoid all that, it's smooth sailing, and the second you get caught up in that, your race is kind of over. But anyways, you'll see more to follow. Just taking it easy right now. There's guys that are pushing forward and probably in better shape, and we had some ex-pros and guys that have been riding for a lot longer than I have out here, so for some of them it was probably a lot easier, and me, I ride quite a bit, so this wasn't the most difficult race. But when you start pushing your bike, these things get hard really fast. You waste a lot of energy, so avoid doing that. And yeah, this stuff is just so slick, and traction is really difficult. We were on the starting line, me and my buddy Vance were next to each other, and I looked at his rear tire, and it was worse than mine, but I had a used tire on, and everybody else had a brand new freshie on, and I thought, oh crap, I'm saving mine for another race. I just thought, I'm not going to waste a tire on this. It's not part of my race series, and of course I want to have good traction, but this is more about the experience than anything else. So I thought the tire that I had on, I used Shinko Cheater 525, would do the trick, and it proved to give me good enough traction throughout the day. I wasn't really complaining about my tires. So here we are dropping down into what would be one of the first outliers of the race. It is called Danny's Hill, and yeah, it's really not that difficult of a climb if it's something that you're used to. But as you will see, there are people already kind of splattered all over the place here. So I was kind of eyeing this up to see, okay, where's a good line, and people are coming in and passing me, and sort of have to hit the panic button and just pull the trigger on it. It's probably not a perfect time to go in when right off the start of the race you're hitting stuff like this so early on. So here we go, up and away, trying to avoid people, and kind of did an okay job of it, but still not up. So rather than hit this without a run, I thought I'm going to go around these guys and do a little spin, and then at least I'll have some momentum. Because once you stop on these hills and try to get going again, it's very difficult to gain traction. So I noticed somebody coming up here on the left-hand side, and I thought, oh shit, now's the time, let's go. So head on up the hill. A lot of these hills, you'll crest them and you don't know if it's a plateau or that same angle going back down. So a lot of blind hills to go over, and a lot of mega holes that you can fall in and ruin yourself and your bike and whatever else. They'll just swallow you whole. So it's super challenging to if you really are going to push, mistakes are just so costly, and not knowing the course, obviously nobody has been out here riding it. You could have walked it, but I wasn't around for that. So yeah, you're just kind of guessing. Some of this is the same as what we rode last year, so I did know what to expect, and you know that yeah, these hills are no joke. You don't want to go barreling down them or over these too quickly, because yeah, if you land in the wrong place, it can be game over. So that was Danny's Hill. This here is Wojo. Last year, this place was a parking lot. There was people stopped here everywhere. There was lines off to the left that people were making in the main line, and it was chaos last year at this spot. And I assume some people probably didn't get up. I don't know. I was out here early enough this year that I didn't see any chaos here just yet. But looking online, I see some pictures of guys chucking their bikes and whatever else. So at some point in time, it did prove to be difficult. But right here, right now, it's not that bad. So these guys are just accounting for us as we go through. Once you kind of go through, they want you to get a move on. But yeah, you might think, I'm just going to follow this guy up. No, now you're going to be eating at his bike. So you really got to be smart about when you go. Here we are hitting it. It's honestly not that bad. If you're used to hitting hills, then it's no big thing. But you mess up and it can turn into a wreck your bike situation. There we go, dropping my bike as I get over that. He's a guy that stepped up to 40A this year. He's been racing for a little while, I guess. He had the championship last year in 40B in our AMSA series, and stepped up to 40A, and he's doing pretty good this year too. So he's a great guy, and yeah, just kind of tailing him a little bit here. Of course, I don't want to let him finish ahead of me because then he'll have bragging rights and something to hold over me for the next race, so gotta pass him. Dropping back down here, you can see Bojo again there just to the right. There's lots of dust and people all over that hill, so it's starting to bung up a little bit, but still not too bad. That left line looked really rough, so I took the right line and it worked out okay. This, however, I bunged up at the top and had to kind of go around and come up the side. Just screwed up, and it's so hard to get started on this stuff once you do mess up. Now I'm dropping into the third outlier. This is Geordie. This hill proved to be too much for a lot of the guys that were riding, I guess. I'm sure with nobody on it, a lot of these guys probably wouldn't have that hard of a time, but when you've got people stopped halfway up, it makes climbing this very difficult. So yeah, I struggled here for quite a while. I won't talk all the way through this, but it was just very frustrating not to get a clean run at this and get up it.
I gotta get my ass this way. Ah, fuck. was there and the guy fucked up in front of me, and here I am. For fuck's sake.
So, yeah, that was my second attempt, and I've got my back tire. I think it was wrapped up in the netting a little bit here too. So, yeah, was trying to get that undone, and I'd rather drop down and hit the hill again than try to force my way up it and push the bike up. So. I'm sure, I know I got more chances at this hill than a lot of the other people, sadly. A lot of people probably didn't even get a crack at this, and here I am taking 3 shots at it. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's where it pays to get out front. But I've sped this up because it's 10 minutes of my life that I'm never going to get back, and I don't want to relive it or have you guys relive it. So you can see all the carnage here. It's like one at a time, and as soon as there's a little sliver of a window for somebody to go, rather than waiting another 30 seconds and have this hill cleared, it's they go and get to the same spot. And so I had to do the same, get to the spot, and this time I thought, shit, I'm not going to drop back down, this isn't going to work. So I told this guy, hey, I'll give you a hand up, you give me a hand up, and let's just get the heck out of here. So I helped him get his bike up, he came back for me, and yeah, it's very difficult to get bikes up these things when they're not moving. They feel extra heavy, but here we are up. So yeah, a lot of guys, their races would have ended before that hill, and thankfully mine kept going, so got through it and past it. But I am honestly pretty gassed here now, and yeah, just trying to slow down and get my heart rate to come back down. I think it was up to 196 again. It seems to be a trend here. I ended up really high, and so you know, I'm just trying to go on easy street here and not push myself too hard and get the heart rate back down. So that's what we're trying here now.
Oh, that hill tired me out.
We are on private land here as well. I guess I'll make mention of that. So it isn't a place that you can just come and ride whenever you feel like it. So it's foreign to most of us and looks like quite the alien landscape. So it's really cool to be able to ride places like this. So thanks to Shane, Cuthbertson, and the other folks that put this race on, as well as the people that own this land. Yeah, it's a pretty wild spot. So desert. In Alberta last weekend we were racing in snow, and this weekend it's the desert, and I think it was plus 31 the day before, and I'm pretty sure it was about the same temperature here today. So super hot, and this is early in the morning. Thankfully, I can't imagine what the heck the pros went through. It would have been just grueling, the sun. normally a spot like this is where you just get on the gas and give her, because you can just make up a lot of time and it's not challenging, and so go really fast. But in this race it wasn't going for all the marbles, so it was just a good place to catch my breath, have a drink, take in the sights, and wasn't really on the gas here, so just meandering my way through this easy stuff now.
This stuff actually is slippery. Some places it feels like you have grip, and in other places, not so much. So nice. The guys in the afternoon are going to be just roasting.
I didn't mention earlier, but one of the guys I was racing against, Vince Brown, he came in, I believe, third in the prologue. and I was chatting with him. He's 57 years old. I believe he's from Dawson Creek, and still just ripping. So, and last year I believe he said he finished 8th, which is just, it's pretty rad when somebody, you know, closing in on 60 is out here just showing you who's boss. So super impressive. It was really cool to meet that guy.
Tired. Just conserving energy, I guess, for the next pile up.
Give it gas and spin like that, thinking you're gonna get up, and it just sits there and doesn't have traction, and you just burn your tire up, but it feels good.
Probably the 2-hour mark of a race that I actually get my second win. So with this race ending in 2 hours, that doesn't necessarily happen. And really, I shouldn't be so gassed, but time to start a training program, I think. Riding dirt bikes all the time only gets you so far. bud? That guy's an amateur, so I'm not really concerned about letting him go by. What do we have here? I could add a good line. Almost. It's that stuff that's super slippery.
So unless there was fencing or something, a checkpoint that you really had to go through, believe the rule said you had to be within 10 meters or 30 feet of the line, so you weren't totally stuck having to ride right on the track. However, where those bottlenecks were, there was no other options, and you couldn't go outside of that, so it really forced everybody into those bottlenecks. And hopefully there's some lessons to be learned there, and or give some of the people some authority to make changes on the fly while we're racing, because just so many people were parked there. It would have been super frustrating to have traveled and done all this and then come out and not even probably rode 4 kilometers before your race was over because of that bottleneck. So these things happen, and that's the way it goes. You just got to nudge your way to the front, I guess, and have the skills to clean those hills, and then it's not a problem. Otherwise, yeah, you're just going to be watching everybody else struggle all day. So that's the way she goes.
Some of these hills you definitely don't want to bomb over because you're going to what's on the other side. I saw an arrow and I thought I was going to have to go up that. Thank you.
So this spot here, there's guys rolling up to and taking their time, and there was a massive hole there that you really didn't want swallowing your bike. So I don't know, everybody probably had a different technique of how to go around this. It was pretty funny watching these guys go through. And then I just spotted my friend Leanne, so she was snapping a picture and I'm giving her the thumbs up, trying to look like I'm cool, calm, and collected, but I'm just panting away. I decided to ride across that thing, but yeah, the smarter thing probably would have been to get off the bike. I don't like getting off my bike though. I like to do the dumb thing, and hopefully when you can make it work and you survive, you're like, oh, that's awesome, and then when you don't and you're struggling, then you're like, oh, jeez, I'm a dummy. But more often than not, I do the dumb thing, and usually it works out for me. But this here, I just was so tired. It's the most mundane hill, but when you're smoked, it just takes everything in you to get up. So, and of course, my friends are there watching, and I'm just riding like a noob. So, yeah, what can I say? At least I'm out on my bike anyway.
We get a better run.
Some of my buddies, their sons were there cheering us on, and daughters, so this is a really cool race for having spectators and people you know cheering on. It just really lights the fire under your butt, so it's pretty awesome when people are out here cheering you on, for sure. But back there where that guy, I'd said, I'm going to get a runner, and he hit it. You get in a hurry and don't take the time, and then you mess up and waste a whole pile of energy. So sometimes taking that extra second or whatever to just ready yourself and then go pays dividends. But it's hard to not have the wheels moving and forward and keep going forward. So sometimes you make it and sometimes you don't. But in that instance, taking the 2 seconds that I did, for me anyways, probably paid off. So I did a little bobble there at the top, and my bars just locked, and thankfully I was at the top, otherwise it could have been bad. Last year I came up this hill and I was on the left hand side, and there's pretty much a cliff over there. You definitely don't want to be over there, and I was just flirting with it. So yeah, this one went a little more smoothly here. We had some people cheering us on up top, and we dropped down this steep part here, and this is the end of a lap. So yeah, like I said, I was happy to get in a lap for sure. That's you know, it's nice to at least get around the course once. Anything else is a bonus based on prior results and the way this race finished for a lot of people. One lap is something to hold your chin up high for. So I pulled in here and thought, you know what, I'm just going to change up my GoPro battery and have a little snack, and I wasn't in a big panic, so just swap out the battery.
A couple hills that just everybody splattered on them, but got through those and it's all right.
10, so get out there and make a memory.
Good. Thanks.
I didn't backwash it.
Actually, we're at 58 minutes, but
There you go. Who's counting?
those guys apparently.
Yeah.
Oh,
You want to drink of water?
So like I was saying, this is the only stop
Thank you.
in North America for Red Bull Outliers. And it takes hundreds of
Thanks.
volunteers. Oh.
So last year I lined up behind my buddy Mansfield on the left-hand side here and had to take this line, so I was familiar with it. A bit of a step up. And last year we rode the ridge and then hooked a left. This year we go to the right, so I actually didn't have to get all the way up. Just follow it around and go around this. We are on lap 2.
was so sore this morning, but I honestly isn't budgeting today. Which is good. It was this morning, but careful with my front wheel placement.
These hills are so much easier when there's nobody on them. To come here and play ride with your friends, you could probably go around this place in under 30 minutes, but throw a few hundred people out here and it's a different story. Back at Wojo again here for lap 2. Last year this place was a parking lot. There was people everywhere at the bottom and so many different lines, and it was chaos. So I was actually really shocked to see that there wasn't anybody here for lap 2.
Hey guys. Good, how you doing?
Sorry, you wait where you have to go.
Hey, sorry.
So I messed up at that gate. Well, I didn't really mess up. I just stopped, and apparently they don't want you stopping there. So I kind of had to use Buddy's back tire as a bit of traction. But yeah, I think that helped pretty good. So I was pumped.
I think I just got lapped by that guy. He did pass me earlier before that hill, but he clearly has a lot more energy than I do. Good for him.
This guy here checked up to kind of analyze it, and I'm not sure if the other guy's racing or he's got his helmet off, but when you see people stop like that, it's a good opportunity to get the heck past them, because maybe stopping on the side of that hill and causing you even more grief. So I messed up the first time I hit this hill and didn't want to do a repeat of that. So go for broke.
Oh man. Open the expert loop!
Sadly for a lot of people, this is the end of their race. This was just a mega bottleneck, and they were letting guys through that were like, oh, it's my third lap, and meanwhile people that haven't even put in a lap are just sitting there waiting patiently to go. And this is probably the most frustrating thing in a race like this. So one of the guys that I was racing against got up there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna tail this guy. And yeah, this is probably 20 minutes of my life that I just really don't want to relive, and you guys don't want to watch it because it's really boring. So I'm just going to sit here and chat with guys and slowly eke my way up to get a chance to actually hit this. I was asking these guys if they could open up that other side, and they said, well, we weren't told we couldn't, but with the fencing and everything else, that just wasn't going to happen. So yeah, just sat here and watched people get halfway up or less than that, and then push their bikes up. It's a very tiring way to ride your dirt bike, and so yeah, I don't know what the heck you can do about it. Honestly, you just gotta nose in, and if you see an opportunity, take it, because there's a pack of wolves that are all waiting to get up there as well. I was sort of eyeing up some different lines, but with so many people in the way, to pick your way through that is probably impossible. This guy was gonna take off or not. These guys are thinking about it, and I said, screw it, time to go. So I hit this line, and I don't think anybody else had rode it. Maybe a few people had tried it, but I hadn't seen anybody do it or hear of anybody else getting up that way afterwards. But I just was on cloud nine after I cleaned that. Everybody at the bottom was cheering, and it was honestly the best part of my race for sure. Just got me so pumped. So that was pretty cool. But to sit there for 20 minutes and then have a 5-second ride up that hill was just, it's frustrating. However, this race isn't for all the marbles, so at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I'm glad I got through that. get a lot of practice just sort of zapping these hills. So when you're out, you know, riding with your friends, if you got a 20-meter run up, make it a 5-meter run up. Make it shorter, because in the races and you know, there's situations where you just don't have that luxury. So hitting things in second gear, third gear tapped, yeah, you might make it up, but I'm trying to just get as close as I can to these hills before I hit them and give it gas, just because you never know when you're going to run into situations like this.
Chicken noodle, please. Or minestrone.
This is where you can take liberties with this rule of being within so many feet of the course marker. So I just kind of swung around here and went up this drainage rather than up to the top. Saved myself the effort of going back down and hitting that again, but as you can see, my back wheel had caught a lip there and shot out, and that caused me to not get up the hill.
Okay, calm back down.
checking my heart rate all the time, but I guess really, if you have to check your heart rate, you know it's probably too high.
Nope. This is spectacular scenery.
somebody had made just the littlest mistake, and they're fighting to get this guy's bike back on the trail because there's lots of big crevices and whatnot that you really don't want you to put your tire in. You won't be getting out of them, so sucks to be him.
Nice one.
Yeah, I messed this up here. Got to swing my back end over, and it keeps on wanting to slide back down the hill. There's a point where of no return where you really can't do this, but I was able to get it, heave it over before I got to that point, and sort of side hill over and crawl my way up.
Thank you.
So we made a little navigational error there, and we're going the wrong way, and thankfully this guy spoke up and told us that we were. So I was being a dum-dum and following somebody and not following the course, which happens all the time. You just play follow the leader, and so yeah, I wasn't paying attention, but when I'm out riding, I try to be out front with when I go with my friends, just because then you're used to having to make those navigational calls, and if you're always following other people, then you're like a deer in the headlights. So other than bending my brake pedal, which I had bent it at the last race and then again at the prologue here yesterday, my bike came away, I guess, unscathed. My buddy Jesse broke the electric start on his bike and had to kind of hotwire his bike to get it going, and I'm sure there was other people that had broken other parts of their bikes, and that's just how it goes. But yeah, thankfully I didn't bust anything on my bike. So if you're not chucking your bike around, I guess it lasts longer, but things happen, and I rode that again. This time it wasn't as clean though, but get around this guy and trudged my way up this hill. First time I did it, it looked really pathetic, so this time I think it's a little bit better, but still not like when you're fresh. Trying to decide which way to go there. The course marking here was really good, but there's a couple places that obviously I messed up and other times that I wasn't entirely sure. Kind of on the home stretch here again for lap 2, so revving my bike more and feeling a little more energized, but really this was not, I mean, you know, we're all weekend warriors here, so as much as I would love to be able to just give it 100% for the 2-hour race, that just didn't happen and won't happen, I guess, unless I improve my fitness by a substantial amount. So the fast flowy stuff, it's easy to just hold on and twist the throttle, and it's not really technical, but you got to be paying attention on this too. So yeah, the closer you get to home, the faster you go though. My other thought was that I definitely wanted to make 2 laps again. Last year I was able to get in 2, so I at least wanted to do the 2 laps, and I think their timing and my timing were 2 different things. It seemed like they cut us a little bit short from the 2-hour mark. It was supposed to start racing from 9 till 11, and I know it was almost probably 9:15 by the time we started rolling, so that chewed into the amount of time they gave us to ride. So when that guy had spoke up at the first check-in, it said, or sorry, after my first lap, it said that his time was about 10 minutes longer than what I had on my watch. I was cognizant of the fact that I need to at least get the let out and make it around here for a second lap. I really wanted to just drop back down here and hit it again, but I also wanted to make time, so didn't have time to play on this. It was I was close enough to the top that the smart thing was just to cut over and get going up there, but yeah, would have loved to have just drop back down and hit it again and made it all the way to the top.
So awesome having fans cheering guys on. Makes this a lot cooler. Nope. Oh. That's time. Oh. Whew.
So that's where I finished. Last year we went to the start finish and they had the flag out. We were so close to the end of time that they just didn't let us press on. This year I heard that go off and I was going to go to the next check, but I figured this is the end of the race anyways, so there's no sense in going and doing that because they're not going to let you go through and count your time. So whatever time I had going through that start finish is what I ended up with. So now it's just a matter of riding back to the start finish and handing in your transponder. There's a little transponder on my right fork there, that little red thing that's zip tied on, and call it a day. So yeah, in the end, came in 10th spot, so I was pleased with that. Last year I was in 17th, so that was an improvement, which is great, and was still able to get in a couple laps. Would have been awesome to get 3. My goal was to try to do 3 laps and improve my position. So yeah, 1 out of 2 ain't bad. And there's always next year, although next year this probably won't be running, but the following year it should be. So give me a chance to hone my skills a little more and come out here and tackle this again. But yeah, thanks to everybody for watching this, and to my sponsors, Sad, Navicord, and Wiseman Contracting, and Enduro Revolution, and of course my family for putting up with me and letting me go do all this fun stuff, and all my friends for the support. So yeah, thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.